Anime has no shortage of insanity, from minute-long screams to literal foodgasms. Sometimes you really never know what's around the corner. But those are just moments. What about those anime that make you think, whatever they're on, I want some? We're not talking laser beam from hands or haunted schools, but that specific level of insanity you get from watching the former Prime Minister of Japan play Mahjong against Super Hitler. Yeah, this is gonna get weird. I scoured the corners of the internet so you wouldn't have to, and today's look at 5 of the most insane anime premises ever. I haven't seen the full series, but I've taken a look at least the first episode of each series on the list, so it'll be light on spoilers, and because I haven't seen all these shows have to offer, this list is not a recommendation, just a call out for the insane. Now let's stop stalling and start getting demonetized. Number 5. The Legend of Koizumi, found from William Young on Quora. The Legend of Koizumi is one of the most pure forms of parody out there. It takes international superpowers from current day and past and makes them play Mahjong to settle the state of the world. In this 2010 manga adaptation from writer Hideki Owada, Junichiro Koizumi, the former president of the Liberal Democratic Party and Prime Minister of Japan, faces off against caricatures of world leaders from Kim Jong-il to George W. Bush to Hitler. Basically, imagine the quintessential aspect of typical anime. The come-from-behind victory, overly dramatic death, gigantic enemies, and smash them all together in 6-minute intervals with politically charged satire, and replace the fights with Mahjong. I never thought I'd see someone slam down a tile from outer space to beat Mao Zedong. It's clearly over the top on all sides, and honestly, I'll just let the plot description from Wikipedia do the talking on that. In a world where politics and diplomacy are settled via no-holds-barred Mahjong battles by world politicians, Junichiro Koizumi settles scores with the United States, North Korea, and Russia before retiring as Prime Minister of Japan. However, he is recruited by the Vatican to be one of the 5 world leaders to counter a new international threat: the Nazis, still alive, who settled on the moon and established the Fourth Reich. Yep, this is a real show. Number 4. Haiyore Nyaruko-san, found from user Tartaga on The Escapist. Alright, so we've been here before. A boy in high school ends up in a situation where he's living with a bunch of girls who all want him, but he's not interested, and it leads to everyone's most loved or hated parts of anime. Wait, I forgot the fucked up part. Turns out the boy, Mahiro Yusaka, was a target for an alien slave trade, and a space defense force sends Nyarlathotep, a monster from H.P. Lovecraft lore that's not actually just lore but an alien race, to defend him, but she can also take the form of a high school girl. And that's before 2 others, Cthulhu and Hastur, show up. Again, I've only seen the first episode of this 2012 adaptation of Manta Aisora's manga, but it hits all the super standard bases dead on. It's not bad, but you can see the jokes from a mile away, and you know exactly what you're getting into with this one. Weirdly, it's also messed up in a semi-gory kind of way, with the faceless villains being unnerving monsters that get dispatched by Nyarlathotep in such a half-sadistic way you can understand why Mahiro doesn't return her affections. If this 12-parter anime is your thing, you've already clicked off. Personally, I'll go back to drooling over every word Makishima says. Number 3. Saint Youngmen. In a moment of true peace and tranquility, have you ever found yourself lost in thought, wondering just what would it look like if Jesus and Buddha rented a crappy apartment together in modern-day Japan? Well, if you're the one person who has, Hikara Nakamura has recovered with his 2006 series, Saint Youngmen. This comedy slice-of-life manga got 2 OVA episodes in 2013, and it is actually a look into the daily lives of Jesus Christ and Gautama Buddha as they take a vacation from their usual heavenly lives to rent a crappy apartment in Tachikawa and learn about Japanese culture. In trying to hide their identities, the two get into all your classic misunderstandings with their abrasive landlord, like bringing a goat as a gift or accidentally making a peach tree instantly bear fruit, leading to a wheelchair-bound old man standing up and shouting like Goku. From Buddha's money concerns to Jesus' vlogging, Nakamura managed to make religious figures relatable in the modern day, but maybe not from their original context. If the quite limited 2 episodes doesn't quench your playfully religious anime thirst, there's also a feature-length film and a miniseries live-action adaptation. However, the latter was a limited screening, with only the first episode readily available on this very site. This is honestly the best success story of the list, with no shortage of laughs, taking advantage of the zany premise, and this one I do recommend. Number 2. Nerima Daikon Brothers. Found from user GYT Kaliba on Funimation forums. Our number 2 entry is somewhat of a rare sight, a musical anime. This 2006 anime follows Hideki, a simple daikon farmer, his brother Ichiro, and his cousin Mako on their adventures to rid the world of evildoers. Also, they kind of, maybe, possibly only take on rich adversaries to, you could say, take all their money so Hideki can use it to build a dome in their hometown of Nerima, and so their no-name band has somewhere to perform. This wouldn't be complete without a mysterious rental man who loans them small, completely reasonable tools to take down the baddies. You know, just the essentials like a bazooka. Takamitsu Kondo's adapted manga gets even raunchier with our only R+ rating of the day. I've only looked at the first episode, but the plot is kicked off by Ichiro's job in a host club, in a scene that means I can never look at sausage the same. The sexual humor only gets doubled down on from there as Hideki attempts to take his non-consenting brother's place at the manual genital simulation table to try and secure a contract from a questionably stereotypical casting director who employs only young, soft-looking men. And there's still 11 episodes to go where, according to its Wikipedia entry, the show parodies many famous people and institutions in Japan, including Junichiro Koizumi and his political followers, Michael Jackson, the fortune teller Kazuko Hosoki, Star Wars, host club entertainers, among many others. Let's be very clear, this one hits very outside the PC box, and having seen just the first episode, watch at your own risk. This isn't a recommendation, just a call out for the insane. Number 1. Watashi no Coffee Samurai. Found from user Camwheeler on Reddit. Now, you might think that for a successful comedy you need good writing, or contrasting characters, or comical misunderstandings, or any of that usual guff. But Watashi no Coffee Samurai proves that you don't actually need any of that for comedy. You just need terrible microphones, no development, and a woman to ride through the night sky on the head of a slightly anthropomorphic vending machine. This is one of those anime that's so bad it does some sort of interdimensional calculus and envelops a black hole back on itself to become somehow hilarious. So, the main character, who I think is named Jin Young Young, is a master swordsman who dies in combat wishing for an iron body in his next life. So naturally, he's reincarnated as a coffee vending machine. He falls for a human woman and fights against a slightly anthropomorphic zebra bouncy ride in one of the weirdest 30-minute sessions you'll ever see with this 2019 one-parter. The rules are completely unclear as he seemingly can and can't control how long he stays human, as well as basically flying and transforming from machine to man, but still with the ability to produce coffee from his body. With a plot that only moves forward because reasons, characters with no development and almost next to no dialogue, a terrible mic quality, this one is absolutely dreadful. But it's kind of worth an ironic watch. As I was saying, it's so bad it has some of the best moments of comedy, I think in the kind of way where it breaks your brain and you start thinking it's funny. I would name drop director, but there's so little info on this one out there, I can only list one possible Jin Hyun Yun based on art style and birth year. In every single aspect, this is a weird one. So that does it for our look at these abnormal anime. I've gotta say, researching for this list was a wild ride, and I hope you enjoyed the end result as much as I did. Now, I hate to pander, but in swallowing my pride, I'd like to say if you did like it, I'd love it if you could drop me a like or even share this with some other bizarre anime thrill seekers. I also have some in-depth anime discussions as the meat of the channel, so if that interests you at all, feel free to stick around and subscribe, and let me know if you want any more videos like this. It was actually pretty fun to put together. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.